We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate. Speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate. Speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV.
Kwenyu ndemwe chabe mabanja onanjala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Kanizanu ndizo panda pindu. Anakulira miseu mwatu. Tikufuna chilengede chatopano. Osati mapoke tanu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up. Kwenyu is not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up. Kwenyu is not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever. Kwenyu kunata pano, we take the race. Tikonza jiko.
Wonderful day, Monday, and we're glad that you are able to join us. We are coming with EMV, the Monday edition. And if you haven't found and looked for the newspaper for EMV, look out for it. We'll be beginning a subscription and the proper professional distribution of the paper. Today we are supposed to host, as we advertised, Zambia Must Prosper President, KBF, but is just given a late notice that is unable to come because he's preparing for the general conference, which they have over the weekend. And he says he would like to come to the show next weekend after the conference. And I'm privileged that I have a dear brother, Joseph Chira. We've got an outstanding podcast to do on the constitutional making process. And I called him. He said, I'm in Chipata. I said, na kuchipata kwa liwa network wa Joseph. Mwashawa kuchipata, he's from Kasenengwa. And, Eastern has a problem. But he says, I can come, especially for the national issues. We have a major development. The Law Association of Zambia and the Church Motherboard is the main one that form Oasis Forum. Have sued the Attorney General and government once again for this flawed constitutional making process. And Joseph Chira is a renowned Lusaka lawyer and is a keen writer on most of these constitutional issues. You probably have seen his write-ups. So let me just bring Mr. Chira on the program so that we go into details, especially with the development from from the Law Association of Zambia and church mother bodies under Oasis Forum. Mr. Chirwa, good day and welcome back. And how is Chipata?
Thank you, Ambassador. Chipata is fine. Kasenengwa, to be precise, Kasenengwa is fine. Save, of course, as you are aware, we are not spared from the high cost of living. We are not spared from the fuel shortages. We are not spared from the power outages. We only have power maybe 1 to 2 hours. We are not spared from even network outages. The network providers.
Is it raining?
We are in a state. Yeah, we've had some good rains for the past 1 week. Today, I think we had a hot day. I can see as
Mr. Chirwa, I would like to thank you and thank you profusely for coming at a very short notice to come and have this podcast with me. But the topic is one which you are home, you are literally home with this issue of the constitutional making process. Because you are an author, an academic, other than that you are a lawyer, you write very frequently about these matters. So I thought it's a good time to have the discussion. What is wrong with the current constitutional making process? Why have all the parties, other than the UPND and stakeholders, why have they rejected this process? Just walk us through where the problem is.
I think the problem with this constitution making has been the same with the previous constitution making attempts, in the sense that there is some form of bulldozing. The process to reaching at a constitution that we are going to deem durable and one that will stand the test of time. So the process is flawed, first of all. Secondly, the composition on the people, because the constitution affects every one of us. But it appears the UPND have made it to be seen that this is a UPND constitution. And even the people, when you look at the makeup of the people they have put in place in the so-called illegal technical committee, you can see rid of them as sympathizers of the ruling party. For the first time in the history of Zambia, we have a technical committee that LAS, the Law Association of Zambia, is not represented. The judiciary is not represented. I know they've appointed, I think it's a retired judge of some sort. I'm not very sure. But the Council of Bishops, the Catholic Church, civil society, they are not represented. So we've got this illegal, shambolic committee, they are calling the technical committee, that is bulldozing the constitutional making process. It was rejected here in Eastern Province. Eastern Province has 56 chiefs. They only invited 17 chiefs. And thanks to His Royal Highnesses, they rejected to that shambolic meeting, that illegal meeting. So the problem with the current constitution making process is, one, the process is flawed, is skewed towards the UPND. Two, the composition is non-representative. So we are likely to have a constitution that serves the interest of the few, of one person, a few people, a partisan interest other than the general interest of Zambians. So the process is flawed. That's why we challenge. I'm happy to report that I was one of my law firm, one of the lawyers, together with Mr. Mwenge and Mr. Joshua Piri, in Celestine Murundika and Munia Zulu versus the Attorney General. We petitioned the Constitutional Court, and the Constitutional Court agreed with us that the process was flawed, and Bill 7 was declared unconstitutional, therefore now and void. And it appears the ruling party, they want to use a backdoor in order to give constitutionality, legitimacy to a bill that was already found to be unconstitutional and illegal.
Indeed, it's like the government has not taken into consideration the directives and advice from the Constitutional Court when it made that ruling, like in the case you've cited, Celestine Mukandila and Munia Zulu. They just seem to have picked one small item on a technical committee and run away with that. What were the main concerns of that judgment, Constitutional Court which was landmark in nature because it cited the president that he breached various constitutional provision in attempting to in the Bill 7 process. Just what were the salient issues and why has this government ignored those salient issues? Just speak to our audience to understand.
Yeah. So thank you, Ambassador. Just to mention that with all the humility that I have, I want to inform you that we are the first lawyers to stop a constitutional making process in the history of Zambia. For 61 years,
Congratulations.
people.
Congratulations.
So with the humility that I have, but we have to put it on record that 61 years of independence, we are the first lawyers to stop such a process. We concentrated on the process. When the best practices of constitutional making, a constitution is not made for people, it is made for the citizen, the general citizen, the population of Zambia, the inhabitants of Zambia. So the major thing is that we assailed the process at which the Bill 7 was arrived at. Our process is not representative enough. So other than forming of a technical committee, where the court gave an example to say you have to form a technical committee, the court also addressed in that judgment the process to constitutional making. So the constitution is a good norm, as we say, is the law of the land. It is different from an act of parliament being enacted. Parties and interests where people decide, for example, if people don't want tobacco, child marriages, certain interest groups may sponsor a bill and it will come into an act of parliament. But the constitution is so generous, it's different, it's peculiar. And in that petition for Munia Zulu and Celestine Mukandila, we looked at the process. What is modern constitutional making? And we want to thank the Constitution of Zambia for being progressive. I've always stated that a society to have good laws, you need a brave, courageous constitution, like the South African court, where they've adopted various approaches to sorting constitutional questions, such as Ubuntu. What benefits the human rights? What is in the best interest of the freedoms and liberties of transformative? How can society be transformed? As you are aware that South Africa had such a dark past from apartheid, and they've learned from that. And this is what the Constitutional Court of Zambia did in the Celestine Mukandila. And in the nutshell, they found that that process was unconstitutional. The bill was unconstitutional. And in short, what the Constitutional Court said was, if you say how, you have to erase it down, you break it down and start afresh. Has the executive started afresh? The answer is no. They are trying to patch what was already found.
Oh, it looks like network is beginning to act up.
Where people will collect a red cloth, black cloth, and they sew it together in order to make a blanket because they can't afford to buy a blanket. This is what is basically what the government is doing.
Okay, dear viewers, we are hosting Joseph Chirwa, a renowned Lusaka lawyer, and we are discussing the constitutional making process. Why is it flawed? Why are all stakeholders against the process? And why has government decided to bulldoze its way through the process despite the objection from many stakeholders? Today we have a development where the Oasis Forum has taken to court government for continuing on this path to make a constitution despite the guidance and guidelines from the constitutional ruling on Bill 7. So I'm hosting Joseph Chirwa, who is a Lusaka lawyer. He's out of town, but we hope that his internet will hold, with the crisis of load shedding in Zambia, with literally collapsed network. We hope that we are going to have Joseph Chirwa to expound on all these matters.
I've decided to come here to appreciate the vision of our able president, whose vision tells us that the country is now going on the right direction than it was before. I won't be ashamed to mention that, than it was before. Even those who hate him, deep bottom of their hearts, they know the president, the Republican president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is doing fine. He has got the best vision so far, which we need to support. We have to support his vision. No matter what, we have to support his vision because it's leading us somewhere. It's driving the country into a right direction than where the country almost went. We are happy. I don't know what would be like if things went the other way. I don't think the country would continue enjoying peace that we are enjoying now. Some of us, we were the most victims of our friends who went. We spent most of our times in the bush, running away from our own country. Our own country. I don't think he would like to see such kind of things where our own citizen would run away from their country because of lack of peace. I would urge you, all of you, including myself,
Leero bwakya bakamba mu kyalo ky'esu kya Zambia ekyaweka Njoy. Abantu baafa bakamba kule mu nfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to arufyanye. People have died. Mumino yabakapokola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government bagamba. Abductions have happened. Bagamba. If you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change big man. Fish to arufyanye bakubika mu office. Fish to arufyanye. Why me? Missing. Achani Rubamwa Ichoan Dizona. Where is why me? HH, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo HH. Wala tupwisha bega kutupwisha bagamba. Katwale kya kulanda big man. Why you think? Maana watata. Sabia tuwasevana. Bagamba. Wanesa tuwapweni. Mutala tetu. Icha Zambia. Tuamona mwempwa. Bagamba. Tuamona mwempwa. Nama abductions bagamba. Ubuteko tualeta. Wadulete lama. Amazala mush. No you can take her. What I bump today? No you can take her. Apa number bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Makuvota bane. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Makufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Makufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. When you tayakwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo man. Mufulo pa mufulo, mufulo pa mufulo. Ita yako. Mufulo pa mufulo, mufulo pa mufulo. Yakuliati kwenyu kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo, mufulo pa mufulo. Mayona batata, ba mayona batata, ba youthi. Tentwisuli amenso, tentwisuli amenso. Batu sendela nomba batu ipaila na hope Yesu. Endika chagwa lungu watu bela tinani kwa tila plan B. Nomba tu adishiba plan B aba mmino ya kualesa. Bantu banga wala fa mucharo chesu cha Zambia. Nibanga bantu wala wa abducted mucharo chesu cha Zambia. Bambire kuli jeje banda. Nibanga bantu wala wa prison. Abena chitotela chilangwa. Wonse wa prison netunguru shina shimbi na shimbi. Muli one government ya kwa echechi. Abantu naba famweleza. Aikata nomba baikata na kuyetika chakwa lungu atukwatile plan B. Apa kubo vya vyo mufulo big man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Bila mine matsendela yetika chakwa lungu. Apa nomba bade. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakuvota bade. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Wakufuatika fuatika. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Kwenyu tayakwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Aikona man. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Ita yakwa fwe. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. Yakuliati kwenyu kwenyu. Mufulo pa mufulo. Mufulo pa mufulo. HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. One Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are going to change this government. My name is Blaze Zambia.
Natumfuane mkwai Ministry of Mabwe.
We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides,
Kwenyu ndemwe chabe mabanja onanjala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Kanizanu ndizo panda pindu. Anakulira miseu mwatu. Tikufuna chilengede chatopano. Osati mapocket anu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu is not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenyu not enough. Time is up. For your lies and bluff. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever. Kwenyu kuna jiko. Kwenye ndemwe chabe mabanja ona njala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up, time is up. Kwenye not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenye not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff.
Sorry, I muted myself so that you couldn't hear the issues I was resolving. I'm so sorry, but I now am on. So we'll try another link that I have sent to Mr. Chirwa. So just hold on for patience here. I have Mr. Chirwa live, and we're discussing the state of the constitution making process.
And spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate. Speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV. We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides.
The green one that they're talking about, which is, solar or wind, because you have the coal is there, and you should use it to generate your power. The power, they actually say that, Your Excellency, without power, there's no growth. No growth without power anywhere. And then when you have power, you will actually unleash growth in the country. When you do that, you talk less when you go out there to campaign to tell people what you've done, because they will see what it is. They will actually feel it. It's not like education where it takes several years before you can see the benefit of it. But this one, once you give power, it gives other things, opportunities, GDP growth, and it will give a lot of disposable income, just like what you mentioned, Your Excellency, saying that, yes, today in Zambia, you are using rain-fed agriculture. So rain-fed agriculture, it means that you are going to do one season. But right now, you go to countries where they are doing 3 crops per season. So if you are going to do 3 crops, it means that something like maize, which you are good at, you'll actually flood the entire African continent with maize. So, but right now, a lot of people, they're importing, maize, African countries. And one of the things that I have to also say, Your Excellency, is that being a landlocked, for example, is actually a big opportunity for you, because you are surrounded by 9 countries. So when you do well, and I'm sure the time will come when there will be a race, Your Excellency, because your colleagues that surround you, the 9 of them, when they see how well you are doing, they too, so it will be a race to see who will do best. That is how they are able to grow, the economy of Asia. Because it was a race. Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, yes, so somebody is saying, you look at Thailand, and, when you look at Indonesia, for example, Indonesia, they've opened up their minds, everything, so even with all this, when you look at it, Indonesia's economy, people don't know, is bigger than Saudi Arabia's economy. They are at 1.2 trillion, Saudi Arabia is about 990 billion. And I am a believer that there is nothing that is impossible. So with what you have, I think if the focus is there, you have the right team, which you do, of course, you can see quite a lot of things. I cannot imagine having Zambia with additional 5,000 megawatts. And I think, Excellency, really, you need to address it, because I remember when we wanted to put up our own plant, we put up, then we realized that we had excess of power. And quickly, the Zambia Power, I think then, I don't know whether they still change their names, they said, no, we'll buy whatever excess power that you have. But, at that time, we wanted to do in some countries to put up power coal, where, asked, no, we don't want to encourage power by coal. But then you can see in UK today, last year they opened up an old mine they didn't touch for 30-something years. And they gave also a new license. And now Germany, in the last 2 years, they have used more coal from South Africa than South Africa. So really, I think all this question about coal, we should use our God-given resources to develop our own this, and we are ready to partner with the government to actually, follow this trajectory. You can be rest assured, and that you will have my 100% support in actually, developing the economy here, so it can be a win-win situation. And
I'm also aware of the electricity problems that Zambia is facing. But despite the problems that we have with the supply of electricity in Zambia, you still supply us with electricity. Again, you would have said, we cannot sacrifice our power when we have shortage. But you still give us. Katima Mlilo town, where I come from here, is supplied with power from Zambia. When you have a power outage here, we also have power outage. But that's the brotherhood we are talking about, the neighborhood we're talking about. And we should only be grateful and continue to exist in this manner. You spoke also about the Walsh-Bendola-Lumbumbashi corridor. I want to tell Your Honor that that corridor was developed during our time. I was Permanent Secretary of Works and Transport, and my counterpart here was Judge Sichinga, Dominic.
The power issue, I think, is huge here. And colleagues, we continue to share everything. The issue of power, SC, when you are in a country like mine, when we have passed through a lot of load shedding, people say, oh, so you see, they are selling power to Namibia. This is a town in Namibia, very close to Zambia. We are talking of one-stop border, for example. And if you have one town with blackout, then how do you do 24-hour? But this was an agreement, that is the only thing I would add, was an agreement that was signed in 2020 between Zambia and Namibia. And you don't give up or relegate such commitments. As you have seen, Zambia is a reliable friend to everybody that they work with. So we don't just say because the situation has come, when in fact...
So we urge our citizens that they remain calm. We can see light at the end of the tunnel, and that tunnel is now becoming shorter by the day. As we speak, we now have unprecedented rains in the last maybe 2 decades. And with those rains, yesterday Cabinet was informed that load shedding is likely to begin to diminish by June 2025. This is because the major water catchment areas of northwestern province into the Barotse, plains, and now also the Kafue, flood plains. Water takes 3 months journey to move from Kaleni Hills, from Chavuma, into Victoria Falls, into Kariba. 3 solid months. Water moves very slowly in the plains because it's flat. This water which you see when it rains here in Lusaka, we are going for work at ZNBC. Then you find that water is running fast. It's here in Lusaka. But the water needed to change the electricity situation or the water level situation in the Kariba or Kafue Gorge, upper and lower, or Iteji moves very slow because once it gets to the plains are flat, so water velocity for overland flow of water is reduced. And that is why the experts have said they have not yet done a full measure because they are waiting for the water. But their projections from their readings at their reading stations in Chavuma and Victoria Falls, and I think there's one in somewhere in the Western Province, indicates an exponential rise in water, but they are not yet speaking with certainty because they believe in empirical data. And therefore, we are also a government that believes in numbers.
My dear brother, you are back. Let's see.
Thank you.
Yeah, we seem to have very serious network challenge, whether they are sabotaging or not. But we are going to have this conversation. Yeah, continue with why the constitution making process is flawed. And the way you were explaining, you were the lawyers that took the case of Munia Zulu and Celestine Mukandila and explain what the court ruled and what this government is abrogating.
Yeah, so basically what the court ruled was that the process was flawed. Therefore, an unconstitutional process, a flawed process cannot have a good product, as we all know. What that meant is that Bill 7, which is the one they are trying to resuscitate, was unconstitutional. Therefore, it's as if it never happened. So what I was saying is that you cannot stitch a broken leg. You cannot stitch a house that has collapsed. What you need to do is to erase it to the ground, and from there you rebuild it. Even when you have a fracture, they don't stitch a fracture. So this is what this government is trying to do, basically to stitch something that has been found in all essence to be unconstitutional. So by trying to give life to an unconstitutional act, they are in total breach of the Constitution, total breach of the oath of office to which they sought to protect. That is basically what I was explaining.
Council, the current technical committee, why did you say it's not properly represented and that it's just full of sympathizers?
Yeah, so basically, even in the past, when people are trying to change the constitution, previous governments, they've tried even to sugarcoat, to mask, to show that at least they are being representative enough. But this technical committee, as you can see, the Law Association of Zambia, which is a body that houses experts, lawyers, is not part of it. The Council of Bishops is not part of it. The judiciary, they are not part of it. Political parties are not represented. So I don't know how we can make a constitution that is not represented in that fashion.
The Law Association of Zambia are church mother bodies. They've just taken government back to court, to the Constitutional Court, that this process is not representative and it has not followed the basic requirements and minimums for constitutional making process. Why do you think government is determined to make these constitutional changes? What are the salient features it wants to amend? Because now there is suspicion that maybe they want to affect and influence the coming elections. What's your understanding about this process?
Yeah, so we can only speculate, but what I can state is that from what I read on the Bill 7, I don't know whether the Bill 7 that was in Parliament is the same Bill 7 that was going to be passed. It's not what the bill says that is bad, but what the bill doesn't say. That was the issue. One issue, the main matter that I had issue with. For example, if you are going to say Joseph Chirwa is elected today as a member of Parliament for Kasedengwa, then because the party that will sponsor me, for argument's sake, the Patriotic Front, the party to which I belong, they decide to remove me, then the Patriotic Front has a choice to appoint another person to fill that vacancy. and take over the position. I mean, that is preposterous. It has never happened anywhere in this world. We all know that even in America, senators, congressmen, and women are elected. You cannot have a system as if you are appointing a class monitor where you just you remove one class monitor from grade 7, you replace them with the other person. So the manner in which it is being done, the appetite to change the constitution, instead of having the appetite to end hunger, the appetite to stabilize the economy, the appetite to end load shedding, the appetite, just the zeal to change the constitution is what is scary to all of us. We don't even have to know what it is that they need to change, but just the appetite, the disregard of the courts, the disregard of the people of Zambia is what is scary. And that's why we must stop this constitution at all costs, using lawful means, the way the bishops have done, the way Celestine Mukandila did, the way Munia Zulu did. Even in the past, we have Chapter 1 foundation cases, we have Nkumbula cases. We must challenge this appetite to change the law, and that is what we must do.
Dear viewers, if you're joining us, we are hosting Joseph Chirwa, a lawyer from Lusaka. He's currently outside town. Joseph was very instrumental, and his law firm, with another law firm, to pursue the matter and argue the case of Bill 7, how unconstitutional it is. And the Constitutional Court made a landmark decision to literally nullify that process. The Speaker has been very adamant. She has refused to withdraw Bill 7 from Parliament. She says the sponsors, which is Minister of Justice, must be the ones to remove this. In fact, she has even made other comments that this process, she's waiting for it. She can't wait for the matter to be in Parliament. Hasn't she acted in contempt with court? What is your understanding with the conduct of the Speaker, where the bill that was quashed by the Constitutional Court remains on the floor of the House, and where she has made these remarks, in her extra duties when she was in Chinsali opening constitutional parliamentary offices, Shwangandu, Chinsali, and I think she was in Kanchivia as well. Then she made these remarks that all chiefs are persuading me that we need to restart the process of Constitutional Court. Just speak to how constitutional processes, how the Constitution, like you said, the grand norm, is made. Can it be made by the Speaker? Can it be driven by the President? Why have the people been left out of this process?
Yeah, so the issue of the Speaker is sub judice, in the sense that I cannot comment, because we have actually filed contempt proceedings in the Court of Law against the Speaker and the Minister of Justice. So that matter is sub judice, but people can peruse
congratulations!
The court record.
You've actually taken contempt proceedings against her.
Yes, in that regard, so people can pursue.
So just
the
briefly explain that process
without
literally commenting about it, without being prejudicial to the process.
Yeah, the issue is that there's a fine line between me being contemptuous again to the court, pursuing people with the applicants who is Celestine Mukandila has pursued for contempt. So I would rather not comment on that process, but I would encourage people to go and check. These are court records, 2025 CCZ 009. And that matter is coming up on the 19th of September, 19th of November 2025. But to say that, to come to the other, allow me not to comment on that aspect.
I think we should grant the court respect. It's okay. We can just discuss the principle without going to that matter.
Yeah. So, as a leader in the profession, as you are aware, I'm a council member. As a lawyer of 8 years at the bar, or so close to it, I have great respect for the courts. And what I can say is that the president has no powers to make a constitution. A constitution does not belong to the president. A constitution does not belong to any person in authority. A constitution belongs to the people, all of us, the Zambians, because that's our law. So every one of us must participate. Even PF, if you hate PF, you hate Zambia Must Prosper, you hate Socialist Party, you hate everyone, you must invite them to the table to discuss the constitution. When you look at the Constitution of America, I'm told they will be celebrating, is it 200 years or so this year? When you look at how it was made, the Federalists, the Republicans, all the competing parties, they were invited to the conference in Philadelphia, and they came up with a document which was a compromise. A constitution is a compromise document. A constitution can never be made where all people agree. And when we talk about compromise, you are talking about bringing parties together, give and take. So you cannot have a constitution without compromise. As long as we embark on constitutions where we think the president is Caesar and what he says must happen, we are going to be, even the new government that is coming in 2026, our government will change the constitution. So we must set the record straight that the constitution does not belong to elected leaders. A constitution belongs to the people of Zambia. And as a constitutional scholar myself, I've argued and I've agreed with constitutional scholars such as Munandulo, Sifasi Lumina, who've argued that the best way to make a constitution is through a constituent assembly, so that we make it as representative as possible. We have to spend money in order to make a constitution, because every person, every Zambian must participate in the process. A constitution cannot be made. You look at that group of people they are calling the technical. What does the word technical mean? I mean, there's even a law student there whom I used to teach who hasn't even passed the bar on that list. We have people who can't even define the constitution. What is a constitution? So we must be magnanimous enough, and the president of Zambia must go back to the drawing board. If he really wants to give a people-driven constitution, he must put aside all political clamor and bring all the people, the church, civil society, politicians, the youth, everyone must participate in that process. As long as that is not done, we are going to have a UPND document, and it will be changed. So we must look at the best practices. How has South Africa come up with a constitution? How has the USA come up with a constitution? Surely we cannot be talking about a constitution every 5 years. Every government that comes, every president that comes, we should be talking about the constitution. We must have other priorities. Let's leave the constitution as it is. We empower the constitutional court to refine the constitution. There's nothing wrong with the Zambian constitution. It can be changed using decisions of the courts, as long as the courts make decisions in line with the time. They shouldn't be enslaved by precedent to say in 1973 this is what was argued, because that has been the practice in Zambia. Courts must be proactive. They must move with time. So we have the constitutional court, we have all the functional courts. The constitution as it is a perfect document. Leave it as it is.
Indeed, dear viewers, we are hosting Lusaka Lawyer. We are discussing the constitutional making process that has been roundly rejected by all stakeholders. But you've seen the propaganda by the state, where they've taken the technical committee across the provinces and aired it on ZNBC to attempt to show legitimacy. And as Mr. Chiro said, in many places, including Eastern Province, the stakeholders rejected this process. Mr. Chiro, we are being told that after a hearing of the last 3 weeks, that a draft constitution will be ready before the end of the month. What do you make of that? That
is a scandal of the century. how do you write a constitution in 2 weeks? It means the constitution is already written. And these are the suspicions that people have. You are sending this group of people to go in provinces. They come here in Chipata, they are here for 2 days. People shun it. I know only maybe a handful of people went there with their own motive. Then you are saying a constitution will be written in 2 years. I mean, I've done legislative drafting myself. You can ask any drafter in this. There's no time for people to sit, gather views and write a constitution in 2 weeks. And that is a fear that we have, because it means the constitution has already been written, and this technical committee that is sitting, that is going around abusing public funds, is basically, as you put it, they are legitimizing an already declared unconstitutional agenda. The whole agenda of Bill 7 was declared unconstitutional. And these are the kicks of a dying horse trying to mask it to show as if people submitted. Lars did not submit. You can never have a constitution that where Lars has not submitted. Lars is the alpha and omega when it comes to law, to constitutional issues. Lars as a collective of lawyers, the judiciary, the council of bishops, church mother bodies, civil society organizations, then who submitted to that technical committee? And who compiled? Where's the report? So you see, this is what the Constitutional Court was saying. We are used to say a report will be published, we read it. But now we are told that a bill will be ready. So these are issues. Really, the UPND has shown us that power can corrupt, and absolute power can corrupt you absolutely. And this will be a scandal. And people who are involved in this thing, they must look at posterity, because history will not judge them favorably. Their children, their grandchildren, just for a pocket of money, for a fame, 5 minutes of fame, they want to destroy this country. They want to subject our children, our grandchildren, this country to irrationality. I think that is something that is shocking, especially that 2.8 million people had a belief in this government, and this government called itself a new dawn. People are expecting a new dawn, but people have woken up to a nightmare, to darkness, and these are dark times of Zambia. And if we are not careful in the way we handle issues of the constitution, we may be enacting what is known as a constitutional dictatorship. A constitutional dictatorship is one where there are elections, people are voted into power, and the constitution allows unconstitutional activities. We have constitutions that will allow unconstitutional activities. So really, speaking from a constitutional scholar point of view, these are dark times. And it's literally frightening to look at the way the constitution is about to be altered.
Okay, dear callers, you'll be able to join the conversation. We are hosting Mr. Joseph Chirwa, lawyer, renowned lawyer from Lusaka. He's a keen writer and he's an author, and he's written various pieces analyzing legal landscape and legal issues, and he's giving us insights into the issue of the Constitution. Today, the Law Association of Zambia, the church mother bodies comprising the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Council of Churches in Zambia, the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, the key, and then including NGOCC, have taken government to court again against this constitution-making process that is deemed not adequate, not consultative, and being moved outside the established norms and outside the guidance of the recent constitutional amendments, which were privileged, was brought by Celestine Mukandila, Munia Zulu, former Lumezi MP, but the lawyers were among them Mr. Joseph Chirwa. So if you have any call for Mr. Chirwa, please make your call. You ask him your question. And Mr. Chirwa is on standby to answer any of your questions. Mr. Chirwa, as we go towards elections, there are fears around the composition of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. And I'm glad that you want to participate in politics and stand in Kasenengwa. What is the state of ECZ, and can we trust it to go to handle next year's elections with all the complaints we have around ECZ? And what are we doing as a collective to attempt to resolve the crisis at ECZ?
Yeah, so when I'll give two examples, Lumezi, the way the Lumezi by-election was handled. First of all, the way Munia Zulu was removed as a member of parliament, even when he had appealed, that's unconstitutional. We've already challenged that in the Constitutional Court, and we're very hopeful that that bad decision will be rectified. The Nixon Chilangwa decision will be rectified. The way the elections in Lumezi were handled, where ballot papers had a mistake without even involving stakeholders, corrected version of ballot papers was brought. That is that is a stone in my shoes as a candidate. Then when we look at the way elections were handled in where Honorable Chitotela used to be, Pambashe, and where Chilangwa used to be, Honorable Chilangwa used to be
in Kawambwa.
In Kawambwa. So just a sample of these three elections, just a sample of the surroundings, the happenings around these elections and the conduct of the ECZ around these elections. I think I'm not at peace. I cannot entrust an election of the magnitude of the 2026, because the 2026 elections will be the mother of all elections. 2021 is like candy to what the elections will be in 2026. So looking at the sample, as a social scientist, we believe in sampling to come up with a decision, an informed decision. So when I look at these three elections, how they've happened, and I'm happy to say the Lumezi election was close to me. I participated in the petition, which we petitioned the elections. I don't know whether it was filed, but from the information that was gathered from the witnesses, what have you, I think there's a lot to be desired in as far as the ECZ is concerned.
Thank you. Mr. Chirwa says he cannot trust ECZ to run that election. Let's callers share the broadcast, and also call to ask about the constitutional making process. This will determine how free and fair elections, one of the issues, how free and fair elections will be. Hello, caller, please tell us your name, and we are hosting Lusaka lawyer Joseph Chirwa.
Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Kefas Mwapem Sonda, an advocate for industrialization and national development, calling you from Kabwe, Central Province. Good evening, Mr. Chirwa.
He can hear you.
Thank you very much. I want to quote the Constitution. Article 63, subsection 3 says, a person or body other than Parliament shall not have power to enact legislation except as conferred by the Constitution. You've explained a lot of things, Mr. Chirwa, which we are grateful of. We have seen that in Zambia, every government that comes to play or forms government, and political party that forms government, the first thing that they would like to change is the Constitution. Now, from what I have read, how best, because you have tried to go to the courts, of which we should not dwell so much, since these issues are so much active in the courts. How best do you think, going forward, that as Zambia, we can have a constitution that will stand a test of time. Because I remember very well when the Patriot Front was in opposition, President Michael Chilufya-Sata formed government, may he so rest in peace. He was asked that you promised the people of Zambia within 90 days you are going to give them a people-driven constitution. And the answer from the late president was, have you ever seen an animal-driven constitution? We already have a constitution, and my preoccupation is not to do with the constitution, but to bring development to the Zambian people. We saw President Edgar Chagwa through the 2016, he assented to the constitution, which I have quoted from, and thereafter we saw again the Bill 10 coming through, which never went through Parliament, and it flopped. Now we are with the 7th president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, as well as President for the UPND. We have seen the driving force of Bill number 7 of 2025. What propels usually the executive, or rather the party in government, to make amendments to the constitution? What do you think must be the right way of us doing it? Because after the failed referendum in 2016, I have never heard anyone, including you lawyers, talking about the referendum, which I feel touches so much on the bills of rights. Where are we failing as a country? 61 after independence, every time and there's change of government, people would want to change even the constitution. Don't we have, maybe can't we put up a clause to say, once we amend this constitution, it must be there, maybe for the next 50 years to come, that it should govern us. And even when the Constitution Court, mandated by the Constitution itself, to interpret the Constitution, when they interpret the Constitution and send it to the legislature, which is Parliament, we see resistance from the Speaker and the parliamentarians. Why is there a conflict? How much should we, as Zambian people who've never been to Parliament, trust our parliamentarians that the document they are giving us is a document that will stand a test of time? Thank you so very much, and good night, Comrade Emmanuel Mwamba.
Thank you, Kefas from Kabwe. Let's take a few more calls so that we allow our dear brother Joseph Chirwa to answer. Maybe Joseph, just answer that quickly and the concerns. Why is it that every government is changing the constitution? What motivates them?
Yeah, so that article that my brother has quoted is correct, that all laws must be made by Parliament, but that article cannot be read in isolation. When you go to the Acts of Parliament Act, which is chapter 3 of the laws of Zambia, it gives you, it defines what an act of parliament is. These are laws made by Parliament. So, Parliament comprises the President and the National Assembly. The President submits bills to the National Assembly, initiates bills to the National Assembly, then the National Assembly will pass those bills, and the President will assent to those bills to become an act of Parliament. The Constitution is not made by Parliament. When you go to the preamble of the Constitution, it will tell you to say, we the people of Zambia give ourselves this Constitution. Okay, then we apportion the powers of the Constitution to the various organs of government. The executive, that's why when you read Article 90, it will tell you executive authority derives from the people of Zambia. You go to the article that creates the courts, I don't know whether it's 116 or 118, it will tell you that judicial authority is derived from the people of Zambia and vests in the courts. Executive authority derives from the people of Zambia and vests in the president. Legislative authority derives from the people of Zambia and vests in the National Assembly. So the National Assembly has no business in making the Constitution. The Constitution is made by the people. The National Assembly makes laws, what we call acts of parliament. What causes governments to change is lack of discipline, greed, and all the bad things you can think about. There's no reason why each government in Zambia that comes should change the constitution. There's no reason whatsoever. And there's no rationale behind that. So we shouldn't dwell on the mistakes that other governments may have made.
Thank you, Mr. Chirwa. Let's take some more calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. You are live?
Good evening, Ambassador.
You are away from your phone. Speak in the phone, my brother.
Hello?
Yes. Okay, I can hear you now.
Are you able to hear me?
Very clearly.
All right. Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba, and good evening, Mwana Wakwitu, our greatest lawyer, Mr. Chirwa. This is Zephania. I'm calling from Lusaka, Zambia.
Thank you.
I think I have three questions. I have three questions, Mwamba, which I want to ask our learned counsel. Now, a question is, from a constitutional perspective, what explains the president's agency to amend the supreme law less than a year before the general elections? And does this agency raise any red flag about potential political advantage? 2, if clauses of the constitution have allegedly been breached, what is the exact legal duty of parliament, especially our MPs, and why have they failed to initiate the impeachment procedure clearly to outline in the constitution? The third one, should President Hakainde Hichilema loses power in 2026, is it legal possible for parliament to remove his immunity and prosecute any constitutional violation committed while in office, if not action was taken during his tenure? Why am I asking these questions, Mwamba? We have seen that this Bill 7, everyone has said no. Equally myself, I didn't want even to go and submit because I know that, like the legal counsel has already explained, that it's more like they have already written the constitution. They're just waiting to rubber stamp it. Even Laura Miti, the one who is part of the technical committee, she has lamentably said that it's not good to go and rubber stamp as a technical committee. But the problem, the president is adamant, and is the same president who told us that when I come to power, you are going to see how people I'm going to appoint, not the way the PF used to appoint people. Now, when you look at the PF and the UPN today, you are going to find that PF, they did a good job. Even Bill 7, which they rejected, the Bill 10, which they rejected, it was done in a process, but they rejected it. And they made the referendum also to suffer. And today they want to show that Zambian people, we can't do anything. It's only the president and the UPND. Come 2026, Zambians, let's stand up and register. We remove this brutal regime, which has brought shame to the Zambian people, because we expected this leader to act the way he promised. And in all the promises, he has failed, including now the constitution, which he said is going to amend the constitution. So those are the few remarks which I wanted to contribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador Mwamba, good evening.
Good.
This is Ambassador from Shingola.
Mr. Mbaso, make your contributions.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chirwa.
He can hear you.
Thank you. My question is on the Bill 7 fiasco, of course. Earlier today, in some forum, I saw a post where one of the permanent secretaries, I think should be Tabokawan or something, was quoted as saying, we may not have elections in 2026 because of Bill 7. So when I saw that, it sent some chills to my spine. So I wanted to find out from Mr. Chirwa if he's come across that, and if so, what is his reaction? And then secondly, I wanted also to find out what kind of action can the general citizenry take to prevent this government from succeeding in enacting the descripted Bill 7, because I've noticed that there is sheer determination on the part of the executive to ensure this goes through. So now, what can I, as an ordinary citizen, do to prevent that process from happening? I know there are court processes taking place surrounding the same, but as we have seen, this government has also demonstrated that they can disregard court rulings and do their own things. Are we not seeing a situation where we stand helpless and see these people enacting a bill that was roundly rejected by the Constitutional Court? I submit, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello?
Yes, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. We are hosting Lusaka lawyer Joseph Chiro.
Tanda Kafwimbi, your colleague.
Mr. Kafwimbi, make your contributions.
Yes, very, very simple and small question is that these people that you've got, like Emmanuel Joseph Chiro, we've got all our hope in. Is there a way they can stop this man? Is there a way they can stop him? You know, because we've reached the end. There is no other resolution. Can they stop him just legally? Legally, no violence. I know they're a very violent type of people. But is there a way that they can stop him? In a push-up, Mwamba. You know, I don't say much.
Thank you very much. Bakafwimbi is saying, is there a way you can stop President Hichilema on this ruinous path? Honorable Joseph Chiro, let's bring you on to answer those concerns from three callers.
Yeah. So the first one, is there a way? Us as lawyers, we are very few of us. Majority of them, I believe they are comfortable, or they are cowering and hiding somewhere under rocks somewhere, waiting for history to write itself. You know, the job that we do as lawyers in such a situation is a very dangerous job. We are in difficult times. We are in times where we never imagined we can be in, especially that the new government promised hope. Of course, the PF were voted out of power, allegedly so, because one of the reasons was violence. But we saw what happened yesterday at the PF Secretariat. The Mahatma Gandhis of Zambia were the ones perpetrating violence. So, Mr. Kafwimbi, my mentor, John Sangwa, would always tell me that this is a lonely job. To defend the Constitution is a lonely job. It's a dangerous job. It's a risky job. Because these people, they don't differentiate between a lawyer and a litigant. So, yes, we will never tire to go to court. If it means us going to court 1 million times, we are going to go to court 1 million times, because we don't want history. We want to be on the side of history to judge as well. You know that Brani Mundubire has commenced a matter which I'm representing him, where we are saying this person who is the president of Zambia now, is not eligible to stand for elections because he has abrogated the constitution. He's the one who initiated an illegal and unconstitutional bill under Bill 7. So Brian Munduvira and Celestine Mukandila, they have gone to court. I know most people think it's a comedy. Even when we filed Bill 7 under Munia Zulu, one of the leading opposition figures went to Munia Zulu in prison. Many of them, no, withdraw this matter. It's not going anywhere. Those boys are misleading you. We're court boys. We win in the constitutional court. They are now the ones dancing on our victory. They are the ones now getting accolade on our victory. So yes, Mr. Kavwimbi, you as a citizen, you have a duty. There's a petition going around, a link going around for people to sign to oppose Bill 7. You can offer moral support to people that are going to court. Even you can go to court to challenge Bill 7. We must go to court. That's the only lawful means that we have, is to go to court. Parliament, the biggest letdown are members of parliament from the opposition. Unfortunately, PF members of parliament are the biggest letdown. We made a mistake to nominate or for the party to put most of those characters as members of parliament. Because you see, the UPND under Bill 7, Bill 10, they would go to impeach ECL, may so rest in peace. Even when they know that they can't succeed, they tried to impeach ECL, I think, twice or three times, if I'm not sure. But our MPs, they're the worst MPs, they're cowards, they're just seated, they are waiting for time to clock. Even a motion which they know that cannot succeed, we expect them to put it on record so that if you fail, you fail. But as I've said, the most disappointing MPs are from the PF. So yes, Parliament has a duty to impeach a person whom the court has found that he did or committed an unconstitutional act, as the Munia Zulu case has said. But because we don't have MPs who can do that, we don't have MPs who are cut for that job, it's business as usual. There was another aspect of whether we can put a clause in the constitution to stop these amendments. Yes. For example, the Australian constitution has made it very difficult.
Honorable Joseph Chirwa, you are a member of the Patriotic Front and you have just taken a very strong swipe against your own leaders in Parliament. Why would you take such a very strong position against members of Parliament? I thought they've been the barrier to some of these things that are happening in Parliament. Do you fear that Bill 7 may actually succeed with the help of some PF MPs? What are your fears? How can you use such strong language?
We already have lunatics who are supporting Bill 7 from PF. You've seen them on TV, and I'm calling them lunatics because that's what they are. Their job right now is to insult the ECL, the person who nominated them, to be. Some of them are here in Eastern Province. We meet them. So some things must be said, Ambassador. Look at, you've been there in the 7 years that ECA was president. UPND MPs, they tried to impeach ECA, I think, on 3 occasions. In the last 5 years that we've been in Parliament, this government, we've had lies on load shedding, we've lies on the dollar, we've lies after lies after lies after lies. Then we've been 7. Unfortunately, some of these things are things that I'm willing to be buried for. And that position is that what is the opposition MPs doing? Zero, there's nothing. And the fear I have, of course, is the one that we've said. We already have about 12 MPs who are singing the song of the ruling party. So if that Bill 7 goes to the National Assembly, the chances of it going through are actually 99%. Because we have accomplices from the opposition. So it is not my intention to take a strong swipe at the organization to which I belong to. But these MPs, whom we know very well from the PF, masquerading as PF MPs, are a letdown. They are the greatest lunatics to ever grace the political platform. And that is where I'm coming from.
Wonderful. I guess some will respond. But of course, if we look at, for example, expelled MPs like Robert Chavinga, who's actively working with the UPND and is a surrogate of the UPND and is purporting to be leader of the opposition in parliament, is purporting to be PF president, and President Hakainde Hichilema has clothed him with legality, with letters from the Registrar of Societies. Probably you are justified when you call such MPs as lunatics. Very strong term, but you probably justified. There are concerns. What can be done? How can we stop this process? Is there a way? I know Lars today has taken that fundamental decision, and the Oasis Forum together, they've petitioned the Attorney General. I think that could be probably a way. But what would citizens do? In normal democracies, we have seen citizens, when taxes have been implemented, for example, that are unfair, unjust, and oppressive. We saw Kenya and the Gen Z rise. When you have load shedding to the extent that we've seen young people rise, for example, in Madagascar and other places, to protest. When you have illegal elections, you have young people, again, rise, for example, in Tanzania to register their complaint. In Zambia, many people are coming online when you say, they say, no, we are waiting for 13th August 2026, we'll punish President Hakainde Hichilema. Won't that be too late? What if he manipulates that election? What can citizens do in this process?
Yeah, so the law in Zambia allows protests and demonstrations, of course. The only challenge is that we have the Public Order Act, which is inhibitive in as much as the enjoyment of the freedom of expression, which also encompasses the right to protest, the right to demonstrate. So as long as those demonstrations are done in a lawful manner, pursuant to the Public Order Act, then will be correct. What I can't propagate is you cannot fight unconstitutionalism with unconstitutionalism. Then we will not have a country to defend. So we cannot use unconstitutional means to defeat unconstitutional actions. We must always be guided by the law. What does the law say? So I know political parties promised to repeal the Public Order Act, including my own party, the Patriotic Front. I know even the UPND, they promised to repeal the Public Order Act. But for some reason, I've never been in government myself, for some reason, this law has transcended every other president and party that has promised to repeal it. So it must be a nice piece of legislation for ruling parties for some reason. So what can citizens do? We have to find constitutional and lawful means in which to stop unconstitutional actions. That's the only way. What we can't do is to go outside the law, because when we go outside the law, then we are not doing ourselves a favor, and it's not good for the country. So for me, from where I stand as a lawyer, and a constitutional lawyer for that matter, is that we must use lawful constitutional means to challenge unconstitutional conduct or behavior on the part of those in government. You petition, there's also judicial review, and if people want to express their displeasure, there are laws that govern such activities, such as the Public Order Act. You must inform the police, you inform them of your agenda. But as history has shown, is that in Zambia, there's a thin line between a peaceful protest and where you commit offenses against public order. Maybe perhaps that's the reason why people wait, they'll keep quiet. So we have a lot of laws that we may, even as I'm speaking, there are a lot of laws that can be used to suppress people to speak. We've got cyber crimes laws. It's not the UPND that enacted them. They've just made a 2.0. It was already in motion. They've just engaged the further gear. we've got cyber security, cyber crimes. I've already spoken about that. We've got this Public Order Act, which usually is in the discretion of the police to allow citizens to express themselves through protest. And those protests must be governed by the law. So I don't know, I cannot list of what lawful means a person can use to engage in as far as these laws are concerned. But for me, on my part, I'm using my skill.
Yes,
as
yes,
a lawyer.
Counsel. Lawful means the Constitution allows for protest, demonstrations, picketing, and other peaceful means like peaceful demonstrations. Sadly, like you said, using the Public Order Act, all these have been outlawed, yet they are allowed by the Constitution as part of freedom of expression and freedom of thought and freedom for one to express themselves. It doesn't mean that if you ask for a demonstration, that such a demonstration must be violent. No, it doesn't mean that if you want to protest, that such a protest must be violent. These are peaceful mechanisms provided by the Constitution, and you are a lawyer, you know better. But probably that's what our callers were asking, what citizens can do. Citizens can mobilize and make their views and concerns, and they can make them available to the state, to government, that we are not happy with this. The only protest and demonstration we see are that from government, from ruling party. No 7 days notice we saw in the Copper Belt after the president was stoned and taken to safety, that the following day, Elisha Matambo, provincial minister, led a huge crowd marching into town. We saw the other day another huge crowd in Lusaka, including parts of the UPND that went to damage property at the party secretariat. They are the only ones that can march. We saw in Chililabombwe yesterday, a minister of mines, Paul Kabuswe, do a march without notice to the police, without 7 days notice required, except that the law is being used unfairly and sparingly. Honorable Joseph Chiro, I've kept you. It's a pity that we had started with some glitches at the beginning, but I'm glad that we swayed away from the glitches, and we've had a normal, proper conversations. Let's begin for you to make your last remarks. Many people are concerned what can be done, but I think you've answered that particular part. What do you think is the state of the country? You opened your broadcast today by saying you are in Eastern Province and the people of Eastern Province are suffering. Farmers have not been paid. There's load shedding. Let's just discuss the state of the country.
Yeah, I think the energy that we are putting in the Bill 7, we can put the same energy in creating jobs for the youths, women in Eastern Province. We can use the same energy to end load shedding. I stay in a village in Mtenguleni. I also stay in Kapata, which is in Chipata district. There's only power for 1 hour in a day. The roads are in a terrible state. There are no drainages. Unemployment is very high in Eastern Province. The economy is biting. You can feel it. I stay with the people on the ground. I know some people are in air calls, they may not
Honorable Chiro,
speak to
let
people.
me take this course quickly to allow you to come and put them as part of your last remarks. When people say here that I'm closing, that's when they begin to call furiously. Let me take this course. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. We are closing the broadcast, so I'm taking the last calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Mwewa from Livingston. How are you, Ambassador?
Oh, very well. I'm hosting Lusaka Lawyer. Joseph Chirwa.
Yeah, Joseph Chiro, how are you? I think you have brought out very, very serious issues concerning the constitution, and then also one particular issue that has even motivated to stick to the core is the issue of Patriotic Front MPs. They say, according to the council there, is saying that the MPs for the Patriotic Front, they are let down. Now, as a country, I think there is a level of leadership selection that we haven't gotten to. For example, when how have we educated Zambians on how to come up with a good leader? Now, when you look at the MPs, those MPs that Mr. Chiro is talking about, those MPs were elected in 2021, and then the selection process for those MPs, I think it was questionable. We discovered that in most areas where those MPs came from, those people were wanted by the people, were denied an opportunity to go to parliament. Instead, the strategy that was used in 2021 by whoever was, especially whoever was adopting those MPs, I think the issue of analyzing whether this one is a leader or not, I think it was not considered. Panto ama MPs vamu 2021 aba imine PF. I think those who have been very, very strong defending the Patriotic Front mostly have come from the independent members of parliament, not from the Patriotic Front members of parliament. So, I think we should get to a stage where, before anything, as a country, we must take a moment to educate each other, especially on leadership selection. But because when you look at some of also the mistakes that we have made so far as a country, is we haven't looked at experience. We have looked mostly like how PF came out of power in 2021. People had to vote out someone who has the experience, someone who they saw that he was working. They had to get out to remove that kind of a candidate who knew whatever he was doing. But instead, we opted to select for a person who has no record anywhere. He has never been a councillor. He has never been a member of parliament. He has never been at a branch level. We just got someone from nowhere to come and put him as a president. And look at where we are as a country now. We went for experiment instead of experience. And this is a moment also where, even as as PF is going towards the convention, we should look at certain issues critically, because we don't want, at the end of the day, to be found in a mess. I'm urging those that are delegates during the convention here, PF, to say, let people go for experience and tested leadership, so that we avoid some of these mistakes that were made on MPs for 2021, who came into power because they had money to bribe an adoption. And look at what is there now. And my last question is that amongst those MPs that Wachiro has highlighted, are they among the 29 MPs who are supporting Mr. Brian Mundur as a presidential candidate for PF? Are they part of those that are even supporting the Bill 7 in Parliament? Thank you so much, Mwamba.
Thank you. Let me take the last call. So that we allow Mr. Chirwa to make his closing remarks and answer to you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Niwamungonge.
Mkwaiba Munkonge, landenipo.
Good evening, Chirwa. Ndefua okuipshako pamona chalira kopano.
Bachirwa bachiranda okwebati omuntu onso mwikarakyalo alikwata naye n'ensambu ishakweyalembesha kula koti then nga chakwebati omuntu alikwata ensambu ushe bena ngaba ishiba ifi olupapuro lwaba abenga kitako sensitize abantu buno ushe pali ino nshita pako bati wala abantu limbya likumansa nomba nikoti nshala alembesheko limbya likusolwezi eryo then abama MPs abafira okusita represent abantu abalingirira okuchingirira abantu kupamulandi wa lupapuro tabale chingirira nomba kula kunche ndoko bafuma kuli abantu abenga ekita protect kuli lupapuro panto na chumfa bachiranda tukutwa wayalembesha nomba kuli bena ba lawyer bachirwa since ishontungurushi tashire chita support bena yonsa yamanani kani batwara koti ni state babomfesha nomba bekarachalo takwa ba system imwe tete bachita introduce imwe system online petition ya bekarachalo kuchita support abo bene bachirwa ba lawyer bezo okwe bati bonsana mutuli okutalira ine document balepanga baranda fefirefwa kwa online pakwe bati kwabo kuchita submit kuli bena oro bena bafunya hard copy usheta kwa befya palefyo pantu twasango kwe bati intungurushi palino nshitata tukwete ishi shikwete kuli shikwete omwen sona shifura baletina okurwa independence tulera ndapo inga tubika mu busanso pantanji nomba ipo palichaneho imisepera fwe karacharo tulera ndati 2026 nomba mwebe shibe kuna system imwe yakwe bati techi tuimini na musebo bala saba tuikate ba dictator nangu bala tushuta kaliyo na ba dictator tabakwete okusakamana nomba kulingana na lawyer takuli system imbi yo mwinga chita introduce online pakwe bati twamichita support nangura tatuendere mu misebo apomperere mukwaye.
Thank you very much. I think we'll allow Mr. Chirwa to answer those two calls and then Mr. Chirwa to also help us with giving last remarks. Mr. Chirwa. Hello, Mr. Chirwa. I hope is he frozen? Is the network frozen? Let me just check. Okay, so we are hosting Mr. Chirwa from Lusaka, renowned lawyer, but is currently in Kasenengwa. And it's impressive that we've had this broadcast. There were earlier interruptions, but caller, you can call as we are waiting for Mr. Chirwa to reconnect. I can see that I've lost him briefly.
Kwenyu ndemwe chabe mabanja onanjala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up Kwenyu not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Time is up Kwenyu not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Kani zanu ndizo panda pindu anakulira miseu mwatu tikufuna chilengede chato pano osati mapocket anu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up When you is not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Time is up When you is not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever. When you kunata pano, we take the rico.
I didn't want the audio. Sorry, I'd muted myself. I didn't want to, I was on the phone with Mr. Chirwa. So we are hosting Mr. Joseph Chirwa, who he's just about to wind up his debate, but I've lost the link. I've asked him to reconnect quickly. Today, a coalition of civil society and faith-based organizations led by the Law Association of Zambia has petitioned the Constitutional Court over what is an unconstitutional and executive-driven attempt to amend the Constitution. This process has embarked on President Hakainde Hichilema is illegal, unconstitutional, and the amendment must be stopped. They've sued the Attorney General, and this is NGOCC, the Law Association of Zambia, and the 3 church mother bodies. They've affirmed before the Constitutional Court that this process is illegal, and allowing President Hakainde Hichilema to proceed with these amendments will be totally illegal, and we are hosting Mr. Joseph Chirwa, renowned Lusaka lawyer, and let me see if he's back, because I want him to. We've essentially finished the broadcast, so I'm just trying to see if he can come and make his last remarks and answer the last 2 calls that we received from Mr. Munkonge and Mr. Mwewa from Livingstone and other callers.
I'm also aware of the electricity problems that Zambia is facing. But despite the problems that we have with the supply of electricity in Zambia, you still supply us with electricity. Again, you would have said, we cannot sacrifice our power when we have shortage. But you still give us. Katima Mlilo town, where I come from here, is supplied with power from Zambia. When you have a power outage here, we also have power outage. But that's the brotherhood
Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
We're talking about. And we should only be grateful and continue to exist.
Do you wish to make a contribution?
We spoke also about the Walls Bay Ndola Lubumbashi corridor. I want to tell Your Honor that that corridor was developed during our time. I was permanent secretary of Works and Transport.
The line got cut.
And my counterpart here was Judge Sichinga, Dominic.
The power issue, I think, is huge.
I'm also aware of the electricity problems that Zambia is facing. But despite the problems that we have with the supply of electricity in Zambia, you still supply us with electricity. Again, you would have said, we cannot sacrifice our power when we have shortage. But you still give us. Katima Mlilo town, where I come from here, is supplied with power from Zambia. When you have a power outage here, we also have power outage. But that's the brotherhood we are talking about, the neighborhood we're talking about. And we should only be grateful and continue to exist in this manner. You spoke also about that.
So we urge our citizens that they remain calm. We can see light at the end of the tunnel, and that tunnel is now becoming shorter by the day.
Just hold on.
As we speak, we now have unprecedented rains in the last maybe 2 decades. And with those rains, yesterday Cabinet was informed that load shedding is likely to begin to diminish by June 2025. This is because the major water catchment areas of northwestern province into the Barotse, plains, and now also the Kafue, flood plains. Water takes 3 months journey to move from Kaleni Hills, from Chavuma, into Victoria Falls, into Kariba. 3 solid months. Water moves very slowly in the plains because it's flat. This water which you see when it rains here in Lusaka, we are going for work at ZNBC. Then you find that water is running fast. It's here in Lusaka. But the water needed to change the electricity situation or the water level situation in the Kariba or Kafue Gorge, upper and lower, or Iteji, moves very slow because once it gets to the plains are flat, so water velocity for overland flow of water is reduced. And that is...
Tuaseka. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. My name is Joseph. I'm calling you from USA.
Make your contribution, Joseph.
Thank you very much. I want, first of all, to recommend LAS for the step that they've actually taken. For some time it was a little bit concerning. We felt like LAS was not doing enough, to speak on most of the injustices that are taking place. But to see them really come together with, the church mother bodies and NGOCC, it's a beautiful and recommendable thing. This is what this government needed, because what they've been doing is it has always been a free walk in the park. They never faced any kind of resistance on most of the issues that they were bringing up, and this has to be put, to its place. Bill 7 is dead. It's dead, and it should be buried, never to resurrect again. And them taking that step, great. And I also want to thank the lawyer that was just speaking. He's really touched on so many issues. I love the passion and the love that he has for the country. These are the people that we need, people that are going to speak, for Zambians. When they see wrong, they will look at it and call it as it is. And kudos to you also that has actually rendered this platform where people can actually speak without being gagged. For everything that happens, I felt bad the time that I saw you leave the country, but it was actually God's plan and purpose that this has to come to this point where people have a platform to speak from in this manner. May God bless you. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. I am winding up, but I'm just waiting for Mr. Chira to come and say his last words. We've concluded most of the things. Let's see if we can quickly get him.
Kwenyu ndemwe chawe mabanja ona njala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up Kwenyu not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Time is up Kwenyu not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Kani zanu ndizopanda pindu anakulira miseu mwatu tikufuna chilengedwe cha tsopano osati mapocket anu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up Kwenyu is not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Time is up not enough. Time is up for your lies and love. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever. When you gonna tapano, we take the rain. Tikonza jiko.
I've decided to come here to appreciate the vision of our able president, whose vision tells us that the country is now going on the right direction than it was before. I won't be ashamed to mention that, than it was before. Even those who hate him, deep bottom of their hearts, they know the president, the Republican president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is doing fine. He has got the best vision so far, which we need to support. We have to support his vision. No matter what, we have to support his vision because it's leading us somewhere. It's driving the country into a right direction than where the country almost went. We are happy. I don't know what would be like if things went the other way. I don't think the country would continue enjoying peace that we are enjoying now. Some of us, we were the most victims of our friends who went. We spent most of our times in the bush, running away from our own country. Our own country. I don't think he would like to see such kind of things where our own citizens would run away from their country because of lack of peace. I would urge you, all of you, including myself.
Okay, I have a caller. Let me just bring the caller on. Hello, caller. Just a minute, caller. Let me just...
All right.
We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power, from the grassroots to the highest offices. EMV.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, yeah, it's me. I'm calling from the diaspora.
Yes, thank you.
And nothing, Mwamba. I know very well that our lawyer has been having quite a lot of problems with the connection. And I don't know if he could actually hear most of us because he's not around at the moment. Yeah, I could see that. Nothing, Mwamba, as a concerned citizen, I do feel sad and disappointed about what our country is actually experiencing. Mwamba, the West is yet to come if our leaders aren't going to take correct measures into all the matters that are affecting the country. You know, the lawyer has just, spoken about the right of the citizen to demonstrate peacefully. Yeah. But in my opinion, looking at, at how the law is compromised, I don't think anyone would be permitted. And it's very, very sad. Yeah, very sad. Yeah, because you see, you could tell that the heaviness is just on one side. Yeah, just one-sided. And I just hope that our leaders, who are in the government today, who are actually ruling us, they would just, come back to their senses and hear the cries of the people. Yes. I would like to appeal, to first to the president and to all the ministers, if they could just do an experiment, if they could just do an experiment for 2 days, if they could empty their fridges, switch off the lights in their houses, and they go hungry without eating anything, and then come and report after 2 days how they are going to feel, if that will feel well or not. This is all I can ask them to do, just to do this experiment. Mwamba, I submit.
Explain, why are you asking them that question?
Sorry?
Why are you asking them to do that?
I'm asking them to do that because I want them to feel the way a poor Zambian who can't put anything, who can't eat anything today in Zambia, how they feel. So they should also feel, they should know that this is how a common Zambian who hasn't got any money, who hasn't got any job, who suffers so much to put anything on the table, this is how they feel. If you don't eat, you can't perform, you can't do anything. So can they also just do that experiment? Maybe if they felt like that, they would change their minds and say, look, this is how people feel. Can we say, it's very difficult to convince people. Maybe that's the only way. Simple experiment.
Because they think the people are not, the people are not telling the truth.
Of course, it's like the people are not telling the truth. So, it's like people are not telling the truth because when people say we are actually hungry, we don't have anything to eat, and it's like, well, these people aren't telling the truth, but it's there, it's happening. There are people who can't put food on the table. People who are just maybe having porridge or they are having kandolo, and that's it. They are there. They are there. People are there. And the majority of the people can't manage to have not even 1.5 meals a day. If they could just experiment, empty your fridges, switch off the lights in your houses. I'm appealing to the ministers, the president, and those people who are well off. Go hungry for 2 days. Don't eat. There are so many people when they go home and they don't find the wife has cooked. They will even say, why haven't you cooked? I'm so hungry. But the person has stayed only maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. Going back home, where is the food? You haven't put food on the table. Now, go hungry for 2 days, and then you can feel it. Yes, Mwamba.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you. Yes, indeed. Our caller says the ministers and President Hakainde Hichilema must experiment what Zambians are going through. I'll give it a moment. I see Honorable Chirwa is online, but let me see if I can have picture with him and then he makes his concluding remarks. If he fails to, we may have to close without him, but I can see that he is itching to come and make his closing remarks.
Natumfwane mkwai. Nisikulia mabwe. Natumfwane mkwai. Nisikulia mabwe. Natumfwane mkwai. Nisikulia mabwe.
Okay, we use unorthodox means. Mr. Chira, I just have to get you on the phone line. Please answer to your previous, the callers, and make your closing remarks.
Okay, thank you very much. I apologize to the viewers and listeners. I think network, as I was saying, Chipata, we are facing a serious network issue coupled with load shedding, coupled with youth unemployment. Infrastructure is on its status. The roads are bad. There's hunger here. I was saying that for people who go on the streets, who talk to people, I go to Saturday Market, I go to Town Center, I go to Kapata, I go to Maglasi, DK, I go to Mtenguleni, I go to Chiparamba, I go to Chuoko. What I can tell you is that we have no agency for the Constitution. We have the agency to end hunger. We have the agency to give the farmers the inputs on time. We have agency to create employment. We have agency to build infrastructure. And someone asked me, what can we do? What we can do is to exercise our rights as citizens, which are given under the Constitution. We must register as voters in numbers, so that all the 2.8 million people that voted for UPND must vote against UPND and vote for a progressive movement, so that we are able to put things, we bring to an end this unconstitutionalism, we bring to an end violence, we bring to an end load shedding, we focus on things that matter. I think, speaking for myself and for my organization, I can mention that the PF has learned its own lessons. And this time, we mean business. The new blood which is there, we mean business. I have no apologies to make on what I said about MPs. MPs are there to do their constitutional duties, and one of the duties of MPs is to impeach a person who abrogates the constitution. And those MPs who fail to do their job must be called out and have no apologies whatsoever, Ambassador, to make. So what I'm trying to say is that we are in times where we face a challenge, a constitutional challenge. We must speak out against this issue. We must go to court. If it means us going to court 1,000 times, let us go to court. Some of us are being threatened. Our careers are being threatened. Our lives are being threatened for the job that we're doing. We want, when we die, when that time comes, when we die or we are thrown into prison for standing up against unconstitutionalism, for standing up against constitutional delinquents, for standing up against constitutional vandals, we must be remembered that we are not doing this for a paycheck. We are not paid for this work. We are doing this for the love of our country. So everyone who is there, there are petitions that are there. A brother of mine asked, there's an online petition going there. It may look academic, but it has symbolism. We need to sign that petition so that we can show people, if it were 19 million people against this Bill 7, let it be so. We have progressive lawyers in Lusaka. We have a secretariat at the PF where there's a legal department. If you have issues, you go there. We have to fight, and we have to fight using constitutional means. We have to stop this agenda where they want to take over parliament using nominated MPs. No, let us all be subjected to votes. In progressive countries, there's no such thing as nominated MPs. Actually, we must get rid of nominated MPs. A president must be able to raise numbers for his cabinet. If he can't, let him govern using it. You have what are known as unwritten collisions, like in South Africa, you have a GNU. In Zimbabwe, they used it. In Kenya, they used it. So, speaking Eastern Province, we must register in numbers. Lusaka Province, register in numbers. Everywhere else, we have to register in numbers. We have to get rid of these people who want to abrogate the constitution. Next year, we must vote them out. Even these MPs who are working against the people by not doing what they are supposed to do, they must be voted out, they must be booted out of parliament so that we put in people. It's unfortunate that people who fight for all of us, people like Munia Zulu, they are in prison. People like Irene Mabonga, they are in prison. We do not want cowards. A country can never develop with cowards. We've got, when you go to America, Marjorie Green, I don't know, she's known as MGT, a lady. She has brought down Donald Trump. Donald Trump today has announced that every Republican must allow for the release of Epstein files. Those are characters we want in parliament. We can't have cowards in parliament, sir. We can't have cowards, citizens who just sit for 5 years. We must do our duties. The responsibilities of a citizen is to make sure that the people we voted for act according to the manifesto. If they told us that they would reduce the dollar, we must hold them accountable. If they tell us that they will end load shedding, we must hold them accountable. If they told us that they will end political violence, we must hold them accountable. And if they fail to live by what they promise, we must vote them out. And the UPND, prima facie, is a failed government. They failed to deliver what they promised. The only way they can cling on to power is to change a constitution, to manipulate a constitution, to bring about a document where they will sneak into government. But we must say no. Let's register anyone who is eligible to vote, 18 years and above. Register to vote so that we kick out these constitutional vandals, these delinquents who want to abrogate the constitution. We must vote them out. Zambia's greatest enemy is hunger, illiteracy, poverty, lack of infrastructure. My grandmother in the village, she has to cross streams just to find somewhere where she can have civilization like an Airtel booth. Look at the Msoro Road in Kasenengwa is in tatters. Kapata, the roads are in tatters. Everywhere, Kabwe is the same. In Ngungu, in Kabwe, roads are in tatters. The road in Kitwe, where you are going to Chingola, is in tatters. That is what we are supposed to be talking about, sir. Development. Farmers have not been paid for selling their maize. Farmers have not received their produce as we speak right now. People are sharing a 10 kg of fertilizer, but they were promised that they will be getting 10. Let's allow people to speak their minds. We can only develop as a country if we're allowed to speak our minds, to debate. Democracy is about being deliberative, to discuss issues that affect us. A friend of mine just lost a mother here in Chipata. A friend of mine lost the mother. They couldn't access medical facilities. We don't have MRI scans in Chipata. We don't have chemotherapy in Zambia. You find it's dead. They had to go to Malawi. My friend's sister-in-law had to go to Tanzania. Zambia, we had 61 years of independence. Should we be talking about the constitution? Should we be talking about political parties, a registration of political parties, fighting? No, PF belongs to this one. PF belongs. 61 years of the immaturity is so alarming for a country that has been in existence for 61 years. We are so immature, the infancy of the country, the immaturity. We can't be talking about a constitution, a disregard of courts. It's shocking that courts can be disregarded. Anyhow, people are forum shopping just to prevent political parties from thriving. 5 years, political parties can't hold rallies. Even presidential candidates for PF who are coming to Eastern Province to campaign, they have to do it in hiding. You, ambassador, you are out of the country because the system is broken. You can't be here. You are out of the country. You have to choose whether your freedoms have to be sacrificed. And for me, who has been a lawyer, I'm clocking almost 8 years as a lawyer. My mentors, Tutu Angulube, Jonas Zimba, Makebi Zulu, Tresford Chari, these are lawyers who have been representing politicians. It's not a paying job to represent politicians, but we're in the front line to see how human rights are abrogated. Human rights are abrogated because you differ in political opinion. 61 years of independence? No. We cannot be discussing that after 61 years of independence. The immaturity is so alarming. Zambia must grow up. It must reflect a 61-year-old person as a country. We cannot be talking about a constitution. We don't even know what is in that constitution. You understand? The system is broken down. We are close to a failed state, if not already as such. People may talk about numbers to say, no, the GDP has done what numbers, we are thankful for that. But we do not thank a postman for delivering a letter. We do not thank a striker for scoring a goal because that's your job. You do not clap for your father for feeding you. No, that's a job. My daughter Lydia cannot clap for me for paying her school fees. No, because that's my job. So if the UPND has done a job in the economy, they must sober up and listen to the people, especially on the constitution. The best way for us to do a constitution, let's have a referendum. Let's have a constituent assembly where we gather all the corners of people, they matter. Every citizen of Zambia matters, Ambassador. Every citizen, rich or poor, tall or whatever, every citizen of Zambia needs to have a voice. Once we do that, we put a document together, we subject it to a referendum which is fair, not the referendum we did in 2016 where you are having a general election, people are busy campaigning, you are also having a referendum. Do a referendum. Then we have a people-driven constitution. But for now, to have a constitution 6 months before elections, That's the reason why people are having second thoughts to say, what is the motive? We cannot be scared to talk in our own country, where if you talk right now, I don't even know what I've said. Whether tomorrow I'll be in prison, I don't know. We cannot be scared to talk in our own country. People fought for freedoms. Chachacha, people died for us. People died for people in UPND. Every one of us, our forefathers sacrificed for us to enjoy the freedom. We cannot have repulsive laws such as the cybercrime law. I can't even joke with a brother from another tribe. I'll be jailed for inciting a tribal whatever they call it. It is hell to live in Zambia at the moment. So I don't want to be a preacher, but what I can say is that Zambians must register and they must punish the people responsible for the suffering through the ballot. That's what I can say.
Thank you very much. Those were powerful closing remarks from Lusaka lawyer Joseph Chirwa, now resident in Kasenengwa. Would like to thank Mr. Chirwa. Despite the challenges, we had a very fruitful discussion. And the last remarks in the last 5 minutes, I think have been very profound if you listened to them. So thank you for joining us on this broadcast. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.
We bring you guests that challenge the narrative, unveil what power hides, and spark national debate, speaking truth to power from the grassroots.